just check a couple of things, and we'll go on with the episode today. Really busy, as I've said in past episodes. I've been really busy on education and the like. So yeah, just want to text my family and just make sure they don't bother me right now. But just give me a second. Yeah. My brother saw it. It's something. Yeah, hopefully they won't disturb me. Hopefully they see the message I sent out, and if there is any other if there is sound, I'll just tell them I have to wait a minute, and I'll just mute the mic on the it's because I got it separately because my mom didn't want to buy something like $500, you know, and so she got one used and separately, and she got a VR, and I think she got it from like eBay or something. It just sounds weird even saying that, but she got it from eBay, and when she got it from eBay, it just came with, you know, it just came with the cord that was attached to it that would plug up to the processor. Well, unfortunately, I've been getting all the wrong stuff. You know, I've been getting this adapter, unfortunately, and you know, obviously, I bought like two of them. I was like, oh man, the thing is not fitting into that little slot there under the lenses of it. This is where you plug it in. Well, apparently, what I think, that's where you plug in your headset. You know, your headset. That's where you plug it in, and so you can, you know, do all that stuff, and you can listen to whatever you're going to be playing. So I have to get a processor. And hopefully I will. And hopefully I'll be working by then. That's not something I'm gonna like live stream up here. Once again, I did it with Days Gone because it was new. You know, it was a new game that I was extremely interested in. That I knew about it in like 2016, and I thought it was coming out in December of that year, but it didn't, and it was like 2 years later. But I think it was shown in 2016 of the what is it called? PlayStation. Man, I forgot what it was. But it was around that time where it was a very huge PlayStation event, and so yeah, I think that was. So yeah, the only reason I did Days Gone was I wanted to do something new with the channel. I wanted to do something new, and I got really positive feedback from it. And I did it like, I can't even remember how many parts I did. I think I did 28 parts, maybe 23. I can't remember. It was around the 20 range. And that was then. That was a single-player, narrative-driven game. But with you know, But with a game like Firewall, it's single player, you know, and I don't know. I'll think about it, but you know, most likely you're not going to get it up here. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, guys, we have a few things to talk about. Hopefully we can get to all of it today. Okay, just checking if I have any sound. But yeah, we have a few things to talk about today that I really have been thinking about. And I've seen it a lot. And to lash out all their anger on, because if you have no, Last of Us Part 2 has gotten a discount. And it was just a rumor. It wasn't something that was actually spun by, was actually announced and declared by PlayStation or Naughty Dog. It was just some rumor flying around. But it actually came to pass, and not the way that many people think it would. You can get the game for $50. Yeah. And if it's already used, it's $30. It's a pretty, especially the last one. That's a very, very dramatic way, because there are games that are old, you know, and successful games like GTA 5. GTA 5 is a very successful game, and that game's it's old. It's just as old as The Last of Us is. The Last of Us might be a little bit older, maybe, but probably just by a couple of months, maybe. But the reason I bring up GTA 5 is because, once again, GTA 5 is like a $60 game if you go on PlayStation Store. It's a $60 game. It's a highly successful game, and it has always entertained the masses. It's always entertained us. It's always entertained the world. And a game like that can always be making money. And they can keep it that way, that price, because it's a game that's successful. But you look at The Last of Us Part 2, it's completely different now. The Last of Us Part 2 is completely different. It hasn't even been out for 5 months, and it's already getting its own discount. And you have GTA 5, a game that's like 6 years old, and you get, it's like 7 years old, and it's still $60, as if it's a new game, because it is a successful game and people love it. And that really is the only difference here. The reason, as I said in my last video, in my last episode, I told you about how it's very important as a creator of a certain project, a certain story, anything. When you create something, you should not be swayed by fans. That is not to say that the fans you don't care about the fans. It's just that you first have to be content with what you're making. Because if you're not content with what you're making, well, you know, it's not going to be good. Because if you're not happy about it, if you're not passionate about it, then don't expect anyone else to. I've said this before over and over again. I was even telling my mom earlier today. That Naughty Dog made a game that they love, and they could care less who hates it. And as someone who's a creator of stuff like this, though I probably never will be going down a route that they did, who knows? But going down a route like that, they are content with how it ended. They're not angry. They don't look themselves in the mirror and see a failure when they look at the game, as they look at themselves. They don't see that. They don't see that. Because they were content with it. They were passionate about it. And they're okay with the way that it ended. They actually love the way that it ended. They love the way the game went. And you can hate them or not, but I respect anyone who is willing, who will go after something, they will make something that they love, though it will most likely give you a lot of backlash from even the fans and the fan base. It is true that this entire community has been sliced smoothly like a hot knife through butter. It's so divided in so many different ways. There are people like another person I think of right now who are, is just extremely very emotional about it, and he'll try to defend it in every way. Then there's the extreme criticist, the critic who just hates the game. Then there's the middle, and you have two types of people in the middle. You have obviously me, who love the game, even though it broke your heart, even though it really just stomped onto you and walked right over you, and it really challenged you and tested you as someone who loved these characters, to see them differently. That you wish that there were certain things that were different, but and since it's the game that you have, this is the game that I've been waiting for so long, and it'd be very, very stupid of me to just spend all of my time in a game that I've waited for so long, hating it and wishing it was different. It's kind of like death, when you lose someone, you can grieve, but obsession, self-pity, those things will damage you, and they don't do anything. And so you have to try to accept it the way it is. And surely, once again, The Last of Us Part 2 is obviously one of my favorite games. But it's also one of the games that has broken my heart tremendous times. I mean, that's saying something. So rare. It's different. And once again, as I said before, the combat is great. It's even addicting. But the story is not fun to play. The story is not fun to watch. It's extremely gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. It's not fun to go through, and it's not supposed to be fun. And I think that's why many people don't really like it. And I'll just get to the reason I brought this up. Make the game, but the fans really decide if it's going to be long-lasting and successful and a milestone and remarkable, something that is going to last for a while. And in a sense, they've made this game very, I wouldn't say successful, but they've made it a game that people are going to talk about. It's a game that people are just going to talk about. And I don't see this game ever getting out of that. It's extremely controversial, and it divides, and and that's kind of the only reason that I think that's the only reason it's getting these discounts, is because not because it's terrible or it's messed up, it doesn't make sense, is what many people have claimed. But I think it's because the fans didn't like it. People didn't like it. The majority of people did not like this game. And they told us over and over again that we are not ready for this game. We're not ready for it. Because if we were ready for it, we wouldn't be reacting the way that we've reacted. So, that's my thoughts. Once again, you're just going to get my thoughts. You're not going to get in some big giant insight or facts. You're going to get my opinion and what I think and what goes through my head when I think and I see all this stuff and why it's being discounted. I'm just looking at my perspective. Some people think, well, this game just sucks because it sucked, and that's why it's going downhill. And that's why they're getting discounts and, all this stuff. I don't think that, not for a second. I don't believe that at all. I believe that I believe that this game has gone downhill because fans don't like it. It's a very dark story, and it really, really stirs anger. But as one of the greatest writers has ever has stated, anger is just a mask of despair. All right. Under that anger, there is pain, suffering, emotional trauma that is yet to be resolved. And so, in a sense, the people that hate Abby have turned into her, pretty much. They are angry, and the way they think they're going to solve their emotional roller coaster and emotional experience is way of outlash and rage and anger and criticism. Though they are completely entitled to say that we go around, we start killing people, but at the core of all this, at the center, yeah, and it's just so interesting to me to hear it. So that's what I think. I think that this game isn't bad. It doesn't suck. I don't want to call it a masterpiece because, once again, I care about everyone who watches this, and I want to give you guys some slack because, like I said, I didn't really understand and agree with a lot of decisions they've made. I've just decided in a way to deal with it and accept it for the way it is, and just love it as it is, even though it may be difficult at times. Does not mean that I don't like it. Doesn't mean I don't love it. I do love the game. I love it. It's one of those games where it's a love and hate relationship. It's not fun sometimes to even think about and play, and that's why when I first got the game and I beat it, I couldn't even replay the game. I couldn't replay the story until probably 2 weeks later because I just could not deal with it well emotionally. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's kind of it comes down to people's opinion about the game, and I think this is a fact. I would say this. I think this is a fact that the majority of people didn't like this game. They hated it because obviously what happens in the beginning of the game, and trust me, I understand their hate. I understand it, and I obviously will be susceptible to these people, and I will try to understand because I do understand where they're coming from at times. So yeah. But there's so much to talk about when it comes down to this because there's so many things we have to state. That's the first thing I just want to tell you why I think that it got a discount is because people don't like it. I say it sucks, it's just people don't like it. Something can be good and people hate it. It's just the longevity and the successfulness of the game lies upon you, the fans. It's upon us. And immediately when we don't like it, there's a problem with that. You need to love these characters more than anyone ever will. And I know that as someone who is a writer. I write. I am working on a big, giant 3-part novels, and I love these characters. No one loves these characters more than I. No one is, and no one can tell the story but I. And once again, it's a huge project. Once again, I have not had time to deal with it all, but to read and write because I've been trying to really get. Been trying to lay hold of this GD problem I'm having, and then they have driver's license and stuff like that. So, all that stuff I have to do. So, but I wanted to just to state the obvious here. I wanted to state the obvious because obviously many people don't like the game, and I understand that, and I respect that. But let's be honest. Why don't people like the game? We have to respect everyone's opinion, and when I say that, please don't take that in a way. It is a terrible and dire and emotional, traumatic, I can't grab, gruesome, brutal story. It's not supposed to be fun. If you were smiling when Joel died in that first scene, I don't even know what to say to you. I don't know what to say to you, man. Because that game, because that part right there really hurt me and a bunch of other people. So yeah, once again, I've seen many people have smiled at this, and I don't know what they really think. You know, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. And it confused me because I've seen people, the people I really looked up to, and people were like really emotional watching the trailer. But when it actually happened, it was like, you know, I wasn't angry. It just confused me so much. It confused me so much. I was like, what? You know? So I didn't cry when it happened because the way that I deal with grief is not as stereotypical we think about it. You know, someone dies and it's a very big emotional. No, my grief is very delayed, and it's very held in. You know, I don't really grasp it consciously until like months later or days later. So when the game ended, I was like, man, gee, is that it? You know, and I was thinking about the moments with Joel in the first game and the second game and all the other parts of it, and that's when I started grieving. You know, that's when I started really. It's so fascinating how this game literally puts you through like the 5 stages of grief. It's extremely remarkable that's happened in a video game. It's, you know, and it's because we spend time with these characters as if we knew these people in real life. And one of the ways that I try to help people understand Joel's death and to help you understand why, not necessarily it had to happen, but, you know, in a sense, why it happened. Think about death. Think about death. There are people who are loved ones who die tragically and they didn't get to say goodbye. I have a friend of mine who is a Christian, and he's in, oh man, what was it? Nigeria. And having your head cut off while you have your family watching you is extremely traumatic and brutal way to die. And the only thing you can do there, because you're right there with them, you're getting their head cut off, getting stabbed in the chest, getting shot in the head, because you're martyrs, because you're being a martyr. You're taking one of the greatest honors that you can ever have in life, and that is become a martyr for Christ. That is one of the greatest honors you can ever have in this life. So Joel's death is authentic. It's real. You know, it's not this, you know, this fantasy type of idea of watching, you know, going through seeing a death in someone you care about. It's not like that, man. Death is just fast. It comes, it's relentless, and it's brutal, and it's remorseless. It does not care. It just comes and takes people away like that, and that's it. You know? So that's one of the things that is so that really I try to help people understand here. Death in the Last of Us Part 2's death scene there with Joel, it showed the reality of death. Death can happen like that, and it can be as much as passing away in his sleep or getting shot in the head. It can, or being in a car crash. It just happens like that and gone. And so I just think they were trying to be. Maybe that's not what was on their mind, but that's what goes through my mind when I try to help people understand Joel's death, because there are people out there that are extremely conflicted about this, and I want to help the best I can. But they themselves they have to kind of go on this journey to find that. But there's not much else I can really talk about, because there's obviously not much going on. There isn't much going on in the Last of Us world fan base. There's not really much going on. I heard rumors about The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer being revealed tomorrow, on Wednesday, and then coming out on Outbreak Day. I heard about it. It's not. I don't know if it's true or not, but just a rumor. But I heard about it, and I think it's interesting to think about, because Outbreak Day is Outbreak Day. Outbreak Day is like a Last of Us holiday. It's a time to celebrate. And the day this game was created, the first game was created, and that's I'm really, I can't wait what they show on Outbreak Day, because what are they going to show? What are they going to show? Because that's the only thing that is kind of my mind sometimes, is what are they going to show now? Because the reason I anticipated Outbreak Day because of The Last of Us Part 2, they were still working on that game, they were still working on Last of Us Part 2, and I was just always interested to see what they were going to show out, because either it'd be a poster, or it was mostly a poster, or anything like that. Either way, either way, whatever it may be, I knew whatever it was, I was so anticipating for it, and I wanted to see what they're going to release. And now, what are they going to do next? And it's not like a Naughty Dog. What I'm going to give out whatever I want in any game. No, it's Outbreak Day. It's dedicated to The Last of Us. Either be 1, 2. And so if there's going to be any, it would be really cool if they did that. If they showed us and gave us the release date tomorrow that there's going to be an Outbreak Day, I'd be really happy about that, because that means I don't have to buy a PS5. And thinking about it, PS5 sales, according to I think Polygon, sorry if I'm scratching beats, I think it said that PlayStation 5 is not doing that well in selling. In the market, it's not doing that well. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just because of the games that are coming out, or maybe it has something to do with the economy, with people having, all that type of money, and maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know what it's all about. But apparently it's just not selling that well right now, and I really hope it isn't. I know that sounds terrible, but it sounds very bad, but it's just it's how I'm thinking right now, because I don't want to deal with getting a PS5 just to play a game. I just really hope if they does come on PS5 that they make it for PS4 too. I can pay for it, man. I can pay for it at any price. I can do that. Just not I can't get a PS5. That's gonna be like $700, $800 just to get a game. You know, I can understand. Hey, you want the PS5 because you want the PS5, not because you want to play a game for the PS5. You know, so it's all part of that thing. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope that it's not coming out for PS5, or I pray that it does not come out for PS5, because if it does, then we are going to be we're going to be some really, 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 really annoying mud. We'll be stuck, and I don't know what I'm going to do about it, because my birthday this year has just been one big giant. It's just been very convoluted, and so I don't really feel like going through the motions again with this. But hang on, guys. Let me see if let me see the comments here, because I think I could check it. All right, comments. Okay. Nope, we're good. Alright, we're good. Just checking the comments. Cause I know, you know, I don't think we've really had we haven't had a decent amount of people in here, FireSide, and I think that's more to me. But hopefully, people start watching these soon. I know some of them watch it. I don't really care much. I just, you know, hopefully someone watches it. You know, but so yeah, the one thing obviously is with the discount. The second thing is the PlayStation 5 and The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. That's something I would like to talk about too. And another thing that I would like to talk about is Ellie. We've done Abby and we've done Joel. We've done Abby and we've done Joel. We've done the role in the story, The Last of Us Part 2, between Joel and Abby. We've done those two, and I want to move on to Ellie. And the reason I am tackling just these three characters specifically is because these three characters are the pillars that hold the entire game together. These characters are what makes up the game of The Last of Us Part 2. And so yeah. Ellie is a very interesting character, because we all love this character. I love her. As I said, I've looked at her as my own sister. She's and it hurt me very much watching a character I love go down this path of hate, and just watching her humanity just wither away. She just endless killing, endless murder, endless, never-ending murder. Just poured out. It's just this complete spree, this killing spree, you know, and it's just, it's yeah, you are the only one, pal. But yeah, Ellie is. It was just terrible watching her go through that, man. It really kind of bothered me, because it was like, man, Ellie, man, it's like she's near the end of it, like on her day, like her part of in her perspective, on third day, when Jesse wanted them to go after Tommy, because they heard on the radio that he was sniping, you know, individuals. When in reality, Abby was near Tommy, trying to take down Tommy, you know. So yeah, I mean, she became very obsessed. You can tell. She did not care about Tommy. She didn't care about Jesse. She didn't really care much about anything but killing Abby. She cared about her. And that was it. Didn't matter who was in her way. Doesn't matter who got killed. She just wanted Abby to pay in blood. And everything is justified in bullets and vengeance. And it's just, Ellie's just this character who's in the middle of it. She's the one that suffers, you know, because she's going through very ferociously and fiercely what Abby's been through for the past 4 to 5 years. She had to face all this pain in like what, in the course of a year? A year and like 3 days? I mean, really, either that or months or at least a year. She had to go through all this pain. You know, all this pain. And Abby dealt with it for 5 years. She held on to that vengeance, that grudge for 5 years. 5 years. And Ellie was more pure, it was fresh, and it was very brutal, and it was just even more intense. Because it's new, it's fresh. With Abby, you can tell with her that she's not some... She's been dealing with those emotions for a while. But Ellie's emotions are so everywhere. They're out of control. It's all fresh. The emotions, the rage, the anger, it's all there. You know? Even when... you can tell even when she's killing Joel. You can just see it. She's... Ellie going after... Well, I'll stop right there. They are both obviously extremely obsessed with killing the person that wronged them. But there's a difference with Ellie. Ellie is, once again, she's fresh. She's really angry. She hasn't really had any love. Or, you know, you can tell that she was Abby was part of something. And so was Ellie. But she didn't really deal with the amount of guilt that she had. That Abby didn't deal with that type of guilt that Ellie had. And so she had obviously the guilt of... Well, maybe. Hang on. Once again, I'm just thinking of stuff. The only thing that I can really see that she was guilty of was killing Joel. You could see that. When she was taking care of Lev and Yara, she said it to Lev. She didn't say it explicitly, nor did she say it the second time when she said it to Yara. But you understand why she's helping them. She needs to feel better. She's guilty, and she needs to clear her conscience a little bit. And immediately when she started helping those kids, that's when she would dream of her father, and her father was okay. He's just sitting there, you know. Same thing with Ellie. Ellie couldn't be bothered until she was going to put her foot down, you know, and say, you know what, I'm going to kill her. And in the moment of killing her, she sees Joel, but not him beaten up brutally and then killed, but him sitting there plucking away at his, sixth string? That's a first game reference if you didn't get to catch it on. But, yeah, I mean, this game, Ellie's role, has a big role in it. Because she's the main character. I don't really see Abby as a main character. Or, I do see her as a main character, but at the same time I don't. I don't know if we're ever going to see Abby again. It's a very possibility that we never will see Abby again. And it's also possible that we will see her again. I don't really know. But she is, like I said, I know I may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I do think that she's the main character, but she's also not. I think her being in there was just going to, like, maybe, once again, maybe it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but maybe it's for a new story. I don't know either. I don't know if it's either one. But I think the reason that Ellie's role in this entire game is not just to it's very similar to Abby's. It's very similar to Abby. It's to show the brokenness, the hate. It will. I mean, you can see that. What happened when and killed Jesse and practically paralyzed Tommy. He shot him in the eye, which he has a glass eye now, and he broke his leg. So it's like, she brought her back into that obsession and anger and hate, killing and all that stuff. So much rage and obsession, and and there's many things the story could be getting to, and that is obviously the story of revenge, the story of obsession, and the brutal and dire cycle of violence and retaliation. But it can also be getting to where Ellie is beginning to heal, and I'm not just talking about Joel dying. I mean, we have to understand here that Ellie is extremely guilty of a lot of things, and it's not necessarily her fault. It's not her fault, guys. It's the majority of the things she's guilty of. It's not because she did anything, but is that she survives almost everything in her way, while everyone else dies around her. Like being the cure for mankind, possibly a possible cure for mankind, and she doesn't get to. She's watching all these people, even when they found that couple, and I think it was like a little restaurant, I think, or just a place where where people dined, where she saw these two infected, and she said only if they were immune. So you can see she was guilty, but it was survivor's guilt. And survivor's guilt is not necessarily guilt because you did something. It's just that you have endured. You're survived. You feel lucky. And you feel like everyone else wasn't. So it's just one of those things where Ellie is just really healing from that survivor's guilt, her purposelessness. It's really making her into a woman. And hopefully you guys understand that. But I think Ellie's role in this game is same as Abby. It reveals the brutal cycle of vengeance and hate and obsession, and why hate is a very, very emotional and destructive emotion. And it's what happens when you're led by it. And that's what happens when love is absent. No, it is a complete absence of love and empathy. But it also tells you a little bit about forgiveness. Could you imagine if Abby forgave Joel? Because remember, guys, this is 5 years. You would think, man, this girl would lose it. You're thinking, it's been 5 years. I'm going to let it go. Because I feel like that's kind of what Owen was. Owen was like, Abby, man, let this thing go. It's been 5 years. It's been 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you're still obsessed with this. Sorry about that. It's that thing. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you guys. It's that. Yeah, it's just that thing, guys. It's a very destructive thing. And Owen was he was so done with it. Could you imagine if she did that? Just let it go. It ain't going to change nothing. It ain't going to bring anyone back. It ain't going to do nothing for good for you. Let it go. You know? But I think even Ellie had that taste of life, but she was still haunted because she never really let it go. She had to go through the pain of this to understand that. And she finally did when she was about to kill Abby. She finally understood. And once again, I believe that if Ellie killed her, there would be no one left. That little girl in the first game would not be there anymore. And that's why I'm glad that she didn't kill Abby, because then there would be nothing left of her. Just an animal who doesn't know nothing but survival. Pretty much. So guys, Ellie's role is really hard for me to spot on because I love this character and I don't like giving characters roles. You know, I just want them to be in the story and I want to see it because I just care about them. The same thing with Joel and definitely with Ellie. I've grown with Abby. I'm still with any character, especially with Joel and Abby, Joel and Ellie, it took time for me because I played The Last of Us Part 1 for like years. I built a relationship between these two characters, and so it's going to be the same thing with Abby. I have to play this game over and over again and love this character. I don't know if I ever will love her as the way that I've loved Ellie and Joel. I don't think that's ever going to come that way. But I am caring about this character. I am, but it's not like the love that I have for Joel and Ellie is nowhere to compare with. My caring for Abby, it can't be compared to my love for Joel and Ellie. You know, I don't think that's ever going to come to that place. But who knows? Who knows, man? I don't really think there's much else. But let me just check. I know. I have some of the stuff on my phone that I look at the Last of Us Part 2 news just to see what else is up there. I know. I actually watched the face design of who had the face structure for Dina. I saw her react to her on the game, and she was very emotional. And I would be too, I guess, because, you know, it's something big to have your face like right on a video game, and not to mention one of the greatest, one of the greatest and most talked about games ever. But let me put in The Last of Us Part 2. But, yeah, I watched her play it, and I was extremely happy for her because I know that it had to be yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, I'm reading some of the stuff. But, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really see much up here. Yeah, I don't see much up here. I just talking about it's a lot of like what to expect. PS5 showcase tomorrow. And unfortunately, it does sound PS5 again. I really hope that it does not. That it's not. No, I cannot take. I cannot take that. I don't want a PS5. I don't want to get a PS5 just to play the Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. I don't want to do that. I would hate that. Because I already spent enough money this year. So. Beard. So much hair on my face. Look at all that. Dang. But, yeah, I mean, there's not much, like I said, there isn't much else I could really talk about, but I think the highlight I would like to say about this is that Ellie was one of the greatest characters of all time in video game history. She is. She's definitely up there, along with Joel. You know, she's just great, and I hated seeing, and I really hated. I didn't want to say the story. It's just how it made me feel. I really hated how it made me feel and how I felt through it all. But yeah, I can't really tell you guys the role for Ellie in this. But I can tell you this, that Ellie did play a vital role in the message of the story, and that is, one, how to prevent revenge and too much hate. Let it go. Let it go. There's a saying about revenge, bitterness. It's like drinking poison and hoping that it will hurt the other person. It's like what happened. They took poison, and actually, in a sense, it did poison them because they were poisoned first. So, yeah. So I think she had a vital role in the game. Without her, this game would not be the same. She was the reason I really had that feeling of The Last of Us, you know, because of Ellie. You know, in the clickers, and you know, it just had like really reminiscing of the first game. And you know, so anyways, guys, the only other thing that I want to leave off with is, remember, this is a continue. This is a continue of the first game. And I've heard many people say, well, this is always planned. This is just part of their story. This is how it was going to happen. You know. Now, I've heard Neil Druckmann say differently, but this is part 2, guys. It's part of the story. You could say that it was always going to happen, sure. That's like how you have to look at it, because it's the story. It's part 2. It's the continue of the entire story. You know, so you kind of have to see it that way. So, but anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for listening to this FireSide episode. I'm really enjoy these times that I have with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy these episodes. Just giving you my thoughts on certain things, and I have this little camera. I have this little camera here, PlayStation 4 camera, and if you guys want to play games with me, just let me know. We'll set a time. Once again, I'm very busy during the day because I'm studying really hard. And I only do this at night because that's when I'm right before I'm about to go to bed. So yeah. Yeah, so I thank you guys for all. If you guys want to play some games, just give me a notification. I have a Father 77 or 777. It's my PlayStation account. Just go hit me up there, and we'll see what we can do. Lately, I've been having some pretty sensual requests, and I guess it's kind of the vice of turning 20. You know, you get all this stuff. Or 18. You turn 18, 19. You get over the 18 or older, man. It's like there's a bunch of people asking to do. You know, it's like bots. I don't even think it's people. It's just bots. And I've been getting on, not just on my YouTube, not just on Facebook, but on PlayStation. I get them all the time. It's just crazy, man. It's weird. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, subscribing, comment, do whatever. And just respect each other. Have honor, have respect, and integrity in the comment section. Don't let it be some place where I have to shut the comment section down. Let's not get. Hopefully, it does not come to that. Let's not let it come to that. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, see you later.